I'm not sure about some of the things Peter LaVille says in other videos, but because I really don't know that much about it, and there's a lot of disinformation about it. But he's dead on when it comes to this video, Crosstalk Endangered Christians. I'll play another clip.
Or, I mean, the West has a sort of self-hatred. And, I mean, in the West, there is this hatred, this rage against God, the biblical God, not the other gods, but the biblical God. And to me, liberal democracy is all about tearing down Christian morals and Christian faith. And you see it all over the world.
Okay. Jeffrey, I mean, you said that you see that there is an awareness of it. You mentioned media in Europe here. But, you know, if people, they were...
As you said, there's a rage against Christianity.
And persecuted everywhere else, but not the Christians, because the Christians, or, I mean, the West has a sort of self-hatred. And, I mean, in the West, there is this hatred, this rage against God, the biblical God, not the
other gods. Okay? This is how it is. And it's a self-hatred that, you know, that this is supposed to be a Christian country. There's all these Christians who migrated here. But there were these secret societies that were being persecuted by the church because they saw what they were trying to do, and the Enlightenment proves that beyond any doubt. There was waves of immigrants. Okay, there was potato famines in Ireland. There was persecutions that brought these people here. And then some of these people were Christians who ran afoul of the church, such as the Templars. Some of them were fake Christians who really wanted to deconstruct Christianity and the church. So again, you know, these things make me want to yell. Absolutely. But I am going to go out of my way in 2016 to prove that the psych op was real. And I can control myself. There's nothing wrong with me. So you're going to see a lot of these videos where I explain and I reference my behavior. And I show you that, yes, you know, I should have been able to yell all I want. I should have been able to raise my voice. I should have been able to express my frustration and pain like many news anchors and political activists do. But I was not able to, because psychiatry has overstepped its bounds. This liberal democracy, it's a push, it's a movement against people like me. And they are trying to play us out. And I do believe that in the future I will be vindicated. It will come out that gang stalking or government harassment is real. It will come out that people like me were persecuted. You will see the type of people, the framework and the type of people who are being persecuted being consistent with what I'm describing. And you will quickly, in the future, you know, you'll come to the terms with the fact that I was right and that I had no reason to lie about this. And that my top martial artist challenge wasn't about really giving me respect. That was a very small component. It was about exposing what is going on. What do I say in my top martial artist challenge? The first thing I say, matter of fact, let me play this for you. Listen to the first two sentences I say. I am the top martial artist in California and I am being persecuted for my political views. I am the top martial artist in California and I am being persecuted for my political views. Now ask yourself, what was this martial artist challenge really about? And their inability to beat me made it so that they did not want to try. They knew they couldn't win. They knew they couldn't silence me. There's two ways to try to avoid this challenge coming out. One is to beat me, so I'm, you know, quote unquote humbled and I want to remove it, or, you know, I want to stop referencing it. Two was to try to avoid it completely, so people don't start noticing a large amount of me defeating other opponents. To try to downplay that, they needed to make it seem like this is just something I said and there was nothing backing that up other than a trophy from '97 and one challenger I beat 10-0. One challenger that would beat a lot of people that I beat 10-0. And my claim of being over 100-0, which is true, by the way. They did not want me to have a large volume of recorded victories to back that up. Because these people think things out. They assess the situation. They proceed accordingly, according to their agenda and their desired outcome. So I don't think you people truly understand why I put $6,000 on the line yesterday. Today's the 21st. Why I put $3,000 on the line for almost 2 years. In the beginning, it started off as $250. It then moved up to $500, then $1,500 within like a couple months, and then I moved it up to $3,000. Okay? We live in a time where Christians are persecuted, where people suffer more than ever. Partially because there's more people than ever. Partially because of the decline of morality. And certainly because of the indifference of people in general. An indifference I am attempting to address by inspiring the resistance, by inspiring the morality inside of us all, the good inside of us all. Even among the opposition view, there are people who are disgusted by the way things work. But they have been manipulated by their desire to have money and sex, to fit in and to be accepted, social acceptance versus social isolation. And when you do the right thing, they isolate you and then say it's a mental disorder. This person is isolated. Just today I saw on the news about the vet. They said he had post-PTSD and his mom had this dog, this kennel company or something where they give vets dogs, so they feel more accepted. And of course, this is accompanied by medication. The part they didn't highlight it, they're trying to say, well, yes, between therapy and, we've helped these people. And almost every person suffering from psychological problems, we'll call them, from mental health issues, we'll say, are suffering from a temporary problem as a result of environmental factors. And these mind states are prolonged by the lack of addressing the true cause, the root cause, the underlying cause in society, which is being worsened by the very people who claim that they are trying to help these people having these quote-unquote symptoms. Oh, I know this for sure. I've researched it for 20 years. No one ever paid me to say anything. I did it out of the goodness of my heart and a desire to prove my sanity as well as the sanity of my fellow victims of this horrendous injustice. I love humanity. The people who do this do not. They have complexes. One of their complexes is an anti-Christian complex. They have a God complex in more than one way. They don't like God and the morality that He gave us. They think that they deserve to tell us what to do. Therefore, the typical God complex of, well, I am smart and talented and I know best, so I'm going to make everyone do what I want, covertly, politically, overtly, in a manipulative manner, and otherwise. These people are sick. They are doing this non-consensually. It's a form of rape, of spiritual rape, of the rape of morality, the rape of moral beings. They are forcing things into people's bodies that they have no business of forcing. These substances have no business being in anyone's body. The people who are doing this were wicked, are wicked, and were wicked from the beginning onwards. I promise you that. And I promise you this is the coalition which involves mental health and the military and education. It involves many institutions. But the philosophies, the driving forces behind these things are a philosophy of Satanism, atheistic Satanism, traditional Satanism, Luciferianism, etc. These are the general philosophies. There's subcultures and sub-philosophies. Criminality, LGBT philosophies, A lot of you have trouble understanding that, but basically these people have twisted culture and religion. They have gay washed everything, if you will. They have injected homosexuality into almost every aspect of life. LGBT philosophies, yes, they're not just sexual preferences, but philosophies that led to sexual preferences. If anyone is born gay, it's a small percentage of them. Almost all of them are what my mom refers to as conditional homosexualities. Given the right homosexuals, given the right conditions, being in prison, a lack of women, whatever, they turn to homosexuality. Okay? Anyway, moving on. Feminism. Mainstream feminism, gender feminism, satanic feminism, feminism in general. And I'm not saying women shouldn't be treated fairly and, righteously and so on. I'm just telling you the truth. Atheism, which leads to materialism. It is materialism. In the absence of a belief in the spiritual, in the absence of theism and spirituality, you have scientific atheism, which is completely believing in the material and valuing the material. Atheism is materialism. Some of them have referred to it, referred to part of it as a deeper materialism. And then there is racism. Racism is a divisive force. Racism led to scientific racism. It led to eugenics. Racism is hating something that God made. It is not Christian. Christians know that we're all the children of God. We're all human beings. Okay, race is just an insignificant component. In the end, it truly doesn't matter if we all mix together and no race is the same. We live in a changing world. Things evolve. We do not look like our ancestors from 50,000 years ago. Even if we are the same race as them, quote unquote. And then science says that race doesn't truly exist, and there's a lot that goes into it. But even if all ethnic groups are eradicated and we are all blue in the future, a real Christian does not have a problem with that. A traditionalist does. A racist does, but does Christianity speak to this? No. So these are the coalition philosophies that oppose Christianity in its pure form. Christianity as we know it in its pure form. Biblical Christianity in its pure form. Christianity as a philosophy, Christianity as a way of life, Christianity as the salvation of humanity. If we are not saved, we will be destroyed because mankind is on a trajectory, is on a course of self-destruction to its own destruction. And Christianity, especially, perhaps specifically, the morality therein is our salvation. So I emphatically declare that I am a Christian. Thank you.